Los Angeles Comic-Con, how are we doing this morning?
Woo!
It's a pleasure to be hosting this panel. I am a contributor to The Hollywood Reporter and a National Arts and Entertainment Award-winning journalist. I won that award for a piece on this lovely cast. Let's get ready to bring them out, but before we do, here's a quick walk down memory lane.
It will be isolated if you don't persist, and less dangerous.
Who are you? What do you want with us?
My name is Sinister. Mr. Sinister.
Maverick, scan the area. Blue Boy, get those doors open.
My name is Mr. McCoy, madam, not Blue Boy. I'll take these.
You must like to play cards.
I like solitaire, okay? Unless I got someone to play with.
Did you see what she did?
Yes, Rogue has a way with men.
My legs!
This'll teach you to keep your paws off the floor.
This one is for you, Mark. Is that all?
Ain't that enough?
Ladies and gentlemen, producer, director, and incredible artist, Mr. Larry Houston. The incredible voice of Mr. Sinister, Chris Britton. The beast himself, intellectual George Booza. Next we have the Southern Belle herself, Miss Lenore Zan Rogue. The only Gambit, the Cajun we all love, Chris Potter. Come on up. And last but not least, the loner adamantium clawed Caldon Wolverine. Welcome. How's everybody doing in the audience?
Yeah.
All right, so, Cal, let's talk about your history. You were a jingle singer, and somebody said they're casting the show you should come in for. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, is this on? Yeah, I was a jingle singer. I sang doing all kinds of commercials and stuff for years and never did a voiceover. And they called me, Karen Gora called me, as she called everyone, and said, we're auditioning for this show called The X-Men. And I said, the who? She said, The X-Men. And they were auditioning for the role of Wolverine. And I said, okay, fine. So I went and I said, who's he? No idea. They showed me a picture when I got to the audition, and I left it in. They gave me a line to read, and I said, "You like picking on people smaller than you? Well, I'm smaller than you. Pick on me." And they went, peace and out. And that was the beginning of this whole thing, which is fantastic.
Chris, you were just talking a little bit backstage about the process that you had when you went to audition. I think it was a fantastic story. Would you share that with us?
Hi. Yeah, well, I'm feeding back. I think for me, first of all, I wanted to be Wolverine. But the day that I was called in and asked to audition for the X-Men, I'm much like Cal, I didn't know much about the cartoon. And at the time, I was busy on a TV show, and so it wasn't a major focus for me at the time. I remember that I went in to do the audition, and I got a little bit of information about his background, and I realized, okay, well, that's patois. So, as a Canadian, well, that's French Canadian, and then it's Louisiana. I'll just mix the two accents, and that should do it. So I got to the audition, and I heard other guys auditioning through the door, which was not really fair in a way, and I just thought, no. And when I went in, I thought, this is what they're going to want. And I read it, and I got the job. Now, I'll wrap it up, but basically, I didn't realize the depth of the X-Men animated series, the depth of the characters and the depth of the writing, until after I finished it. And how those characters were so human, could changing viewers' lives, young and old. So I became much more proud of my involvement with the X-Men as the years went on. And I thought, and I was Gambit. Then I wanted to be Gambit in the movies, but Bryan Singer brought me in to audition for Cyclops. And I thought, I don't want to be Cyclops. He wears that thing. I want to be Gambit. But Gambit's never been in the movies, so I'm the only Gambit.
The best. Lenore, how about you?
Well, Cher. Hi, Sugar. How you doing? Woo! It's great to be here in LA, and I love playing Rogue. You know, when my agent first asked me to go and audition for this new show, which was just called the X Show, they didn't really give it a name in the beginning. She said, Lenore, they want somebody with a husky, sexy, southern accent. And I played a number of those kinds of characters with those voices in the movies up at that point. And she said, I know it's you. But I didn't go to the auditions because I too was doing movies and television and theater, and animation wasn't exactly the big thing that it is today. So I didn't bother auditioning. And then they got to the final auditions, maybe a month and a half later, the callbacks. And she called me again, my agent said, Lenore, they still haven't found Rogue. And I know it's because it's you. So get your ass in here and get down there. So I went down and I put the headphones on, and we were talking to the folks in Los Angeles, and I believe Larry down there was probably one of those people in Los Angeles. And I just said, my daddy liked to kill himself when he found out I was a mutant. And I heard a scream go off like, where is she? Don't let her go! You know, and then I continued on. I said, I remember when I was 13, I had me a boyfriend till I kissed him. Poor boy went into a coma for 3 days. Got so if I touched anybody, it just drove the life right out of him. I don't know, Beast. You know everything. What makes us like the way we are anyway? And anyway, I had the job, and that's why I'm here.
Yes. And Lenore, I just want to say thank you. Lenore is a hero in real life because she's been serving Canada for almost a decade as a public servant, fighting for the environment and for her citizens in her district. She committed to be here this weekend before she decided to run in a national campaign, which she's leading in the polls in right now. And she didn't flake. She didn't flake on you guys. She made the commitment. She says, I'm going to come here for the fans. I don't want to let them down. So let's have a hand for Lenore for coming 12 hours here. George, you, obviously the writing was great for Beast. He quoted a lot of great people, literary, icons. But it was your voice. You gave a real sophistication and an empathy to him. And talk about how you crafted that voice in the audition.
Well, in the auditions, first of all, I was about 11 or 12 years old when the first X-Men comic book hit the stands. So when they called me to audition for this thing called Project X, and I read the dialogue and I read Beast, I said, this is X-Men. You can't fool me. And I wanted to be in it real bad. So basically it was all the things that Byron said. He was a highly educated badass. And he was always looking for the peaceful way out until there was no other alternative, at which point he used his brute strength to set things right. And I identified with that right away because that was pretty much where I came from, having grown up in Cleveland. And I don't know, the rest is just history. And I did the best that I could. I tried to put some intelligence and a little bit of strength into the voice, and tone him down. Fascinating. And that's the rest.
Yeah, awesome. Mr. Chris Britton, you, I think, are the most long-running recurring villain on the series. Mr. Sinister, you had a fascinating character who was obsessed with genetics and shaping the future of mutant kind and humanity. They couldn't have picked a better man for the job. Talk about coming up with that voice and just your experience playing the character and how he grew in later seasons.
Before I auditioned for Mr. Sinister, I had done a lot of theater, been at Stratford Festival, done some television and film, and I had put together my first voice tape in 1979 on cassette, which was the way you did it back then. And I had done some animation and commercials and narration and all that, and I had played a few villains. And when I was asked to audition for this, I had no idea, about the X-Men. So I seem to recall doing some research and looking into it. And I remember Karen Gura, the casting person, I think she had heard me do, a couple of villains and a couple of other projects. So I went in and did my best villain voice that I could do. And I always remember that with Mr. Sinister, it always took a lot of energy. And I always wear just a t-shirt to the sessions because you end up just sweating because, there's a lot of energy behind that character. And the name, Mr. Sinister, it was just something that I enjoyed getting into. And I remember thinking, well, with this character, you've got to have a lot of fun with it. And that's exactly what I did. I remember having a lot of fun with that character.
Yeah. Larry, we've discussed this privately many times, but talk about some of the changes that you came up with artistically that really shaped the future of the show early on.
For me, I'm an old fanboy, as you can tell, but I've been for like 12 years before the show got on the air. I had been trying to get the X-Men on the air, doing every little thing I could, and I came to the show with the background of being in animation business for like 12 years, and also being a fanboy since I was in elementary school. So I brought both of those things to the table to try and put together a show that you guys would all love, that I would love if I was like 9 years old again. And one of the things we did when we were casting for the show, all of these actors here, we had other actors come in, but when these guys, all of these actors here, when they came on board, their audition, they nailed it on the first try. It's like, we got it, we got our role, we got our beats, we got everybody. They were perfect because we didn't want to use regular cartoon voice. We wanted to go with people that worked in theater to add some more adult gravitas to the dialogue and to the characters and stuff. And so we got the perfect crew for the X-Men here.
Yes, you did. Lenore, Rogue was very complex because she was so strong she could go toe-to-toe with any male counterpart, which made her a great role model for young girls. But she was also in her own prison because she couldn't get that physical touch and connect with people in that way.
Yeah.
Yes, and
And what's the question?
I would ask, what was your favorite episode where you explored Rogue's internal struggle, or what storyline did you like the best?
Well, I was really pleased when I was presented with the script, A Rogue's Tale, because that one shows her back history. Right, A Rogue's Tale, you get to see she was kicked out of home as a young girl when her parents discovered that she had these special powers. You know, I liken it to situations where if an LGBTQ youth is kicked out of their home by their parents, or somebody who is slightly not considered the norm, whatever that is. And I find that many young people they really they can understand her, and they feel very similar to her. So when she goes on her journey out looking for herself, I did that too as a young woman. I traveled around the world trying to find out where I belonged and what was life all about. And I love it when she says, and suddenly he called out, and that was Professor X, who tells her there's a place where she can come and she's accepted for being herself. And that is a powerful moment, and I think that's what many of us are looking for, is to belong, and to belong to a family, a tribe, a community. And so I think that's why a lot of people relate to her, because they do have those same feelings inside, and a lot of people have felt that they've been shut out. So if you ever feel like writing to me, and I get a lot of fan mail from people who feel that way, please write to me and I'll write you back. And I hope that my performance has touched you in a good way. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, the show, we're going on 28 years since its premiere. And Chris, you're on Heartland, you've been in Kung Fu, Queer as Folk. Your career is so expansive in different genres, but
I have 4 children. I gotta work.
But looking out at this sea of people for your one big animation role, how does that make you feel?
Well, how can you not feel ridiculously grateful when there's a whole group of people staring your way that are here for something they love? I mean, I should just be out there staring up here.
What I love is...
But if I may go on, I think what Lenore just said, it just struck me because, and I think I might have touched on it briefly when I said that I didn't realize till after how deep the X-Men and the character development was. I have some really comical stories about recording this because I felt so insecure all the time, especially because of Norm Spencer, who played Cyclops. Norm could do so many different voices, and he wanted to always play extra little parts for money, and I was just clinging on to this opportunity, this accent I was trying to develop. And I'd try it, and then Norm would look at me and say, "Is that how you're going to do it?" He was so in my head, and we'd be in this room doing the voices together initially, and these guys were all so talented, they could do imitations and impersonations. It was a horrible experience for me most of the time. But what I'm getting at is, I think, to your point, I think I've spent a lifetime, a career, dawned on me, playing a very similar character to Gambit. I played for 13 years, I've been acting and directing in this, now the longest running Canadian TV series of all time called Heartland. Thank you. And I'm proud to be part of it, but I play a similar character, a character that, like Gambit, just wanted to be loved, but just doesn't quite know how to reach out. And when he does, he's too electric. I think that's seems to be a role I fit somehow. Ironically, it's not the world I live in. I'm a married guy with 4 children, grown children. but those characters I seem to have some empathy for, and I feel that that's a big part of, it was a big part of Gambit and Rogue's relationship. And he was very isolated, very isolated from the others, and typically those are the characters I was playing. So, next question.
Well, we've got a surprise for you guys. We've worked very hard to get all these people together, and Larry here at the end has worked very hard to put together an exclusive LA Comic-Con print of all these X-Men, never before done. Jacob, let's cue to the print.
Whoa!
First appearance, Larry has it at his booth today. It's Saturday and Sunday only, brand new print featuring all the stars of X-Men and our greatest villain, Mr. Sinister. We just have a few minutes for questions, but we'll be happy to answer all your questions in Autograph Alley, which we're headed to next. So we've got a roaming mic, I believe, for 1 or 2 questions. All right, I see some hands. Start with him, that'd be great.
Nah.
Hello. I was wondering, is there any chance of us doing a Blu-ray series release anytime soon?
Larry?
Disney owns the characters again. I hear that they are going back to do that.
Fantastic. Down here.
Hey guys, I want to ask, tell us about your guys' experience doing the crossover with Spider-Man the Animated Series.
Yeah, that was a great episode. Two-parter. Who wants to jump in? Raise a hand so we'll turn your mic on. Cal.
Waiting to jump in. Hello, are these microphones on all the time?
No.
Could we leave them on all the time? Because I like interrupting people. And when they start telling stories, and I just like to jump in and say something that Doughhead would say, you know. But I just wanted to know that it's gone.
You're up.
Yeah, no, what was the question?
The Spider-Man crossover with X-Men.
Pardon?
The Spider-Man crossover. When you
Oh, yeah. They were done, and we didn't even do them together. We just did our lines in Toronto, and I don't know where they did the Spider-Man lines. Yeah.
And when did you find out about it? You were in the middle of the season?
And I don't know who played Captain America, but that is one of my funniest episodes. It's Old Soldiers, I think it's called, the episode, where Wolverine goes to, I can't remember the details, but when he saw Captain America's outfit, the typical response from he said, "I'm Captain America," and Wolverine said, "No kidding." And he said, "What's that outfit made of?" And as they're climbing up the cliff, he said, "It's got edge." Like his non sequiturs, I just loved it. But Spider-Man, we just did it in separate studios, so we never saw anyone.
One more question right here. Jubilee in the front. I love that. Okay, great.
This question is directed to George, and I'm wondering what is the biggest thing that your role as Beast kind of implemented in your regular life? Like, what was the biggest thing? Like, did you become more fierce, or did you learn to control? Like, what was the one thing that you took from this experience that changed your life, that made a difference, and still continues to do so? Because my man is he likes to cosplay your character, and I want to see what he can take from this experience.
Mike? There we go, you're on.
I'd have to say it was the element of control that Beast experienced, or that he brought to all of his situations. Personally, I used to rise to the occasion far too early. And that, I think, what I took away from Beast was his element of control and restraint. And to this day, I think it still influences a lot of the way that I treat certain situations.
I just want to go see.
Guys, I have very good news for you. Everyone at this panel is going to talk to you until your heart's content over there at their tables. We're signing at probably about 11:35, about 5 minutes from now. We're looking forward to seeing all you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming out and celebrating X-Men
Thank you!
series.
Woo!
Larry, Eric, Julia, and all the creatives behind this wonderful show.